Hi, welcome to the Funny Farm Rescue and Sanctuary in Mays Landing, New Jersey. I know a lot of our videos show us having so much fun with all these animals. They provide us unconditional love all the time, but I wanted to make sure that you realize that there is a lot of work that goes into caring for all of these animals. One of the things that I get asked a lot is about goat hoof trimming. Not a lot of people will do it, meaning farriers, so the guys and gals who cut the horse's hoof, trim the horse's hooves. A lot of them don't want to deal with the goats. It's a lot of work. So if you are to get a goat of your own, you should learn how to do it. They do have classes, YouTube videos. This is not a class, but I want to just show you that it can be difficult. You need a holder if you don't have. We have lots of helpers, as you can see.
And Lori, tell them to let them know where people are from.
Okay, so yes, please, people, whoever's joining us, please let us know, hey, from Arkansas or wherever you're from. We like to see who's tuning in. This is our alpaca. This is Cooper. Everybody wants to see what's going on when we are trimming goat hooves, so it is always a challenge. The horses, a lot of the animals are loose here at the Funny Farm. Since we are closed right now, we are short help. So we only have a few volunteers helping us. So there's a lot of each and every one of us to do. So we're gonna show you some goat hoof trimming, some scooping of manure, and then some grooming. All right, you have to move your behind. Thank you, sweetheart. So we usually use these handy dandy little snippers. There's a bunch of different things that you can use to cut goat hooves. These are like a pruner. You can also use the trimmers that you use to do, they're called nippers, and they work well as well, that you use for the horses. So here's Mr. Cowboy. I think a lot of you know him. He had an issue with his front leg when he was a little bitty baby, so he tends to get a lot of problems with his feet. Hey, you're not allowed to help. Here's Yogi, of course. Marina, can you? Okay, we can't have you help. All right, you guys, you're helping too much. Go, you have to go. Maybe this is why you should lock your animals up when you're doing things to the other ones. So as you can see, here is his hoof. A lot of times when this starts to get overgrown, you'll see it starts to curve, and then you can go and cut this part away that goes down to the white part of their foot that becomes flush. So you don't want it to ever curve around, so that can all be trimmed away. You don't want to go too short because you can get into there quick, just like your dog or your cat. So when you're trimming their nails, the cats and dogs, the vets can help you with no problem. But you can see here, you get manure and dirt filled up. We have our turkey. You have to go. Matt is afraid of you.
He's just about to jump on you.
Cindy, can you get... That's Barry White, and he has a thing for Matt. So as you can see, it's not super easy. They don't love it, but it has to be done so your animals don't get crippled. So that's one of the caring things that you have to do. You have to do all four at once. After the video, I will be going back and doing the rest of his hooves. So let's go take a walk and we'll show you. Let's see, Marina. You're going with him, you can let me go. Good play, Cowboy.
Cowboy.
So here's Marina.
He's like, that was easy.
Grooming. Grooming is our other thing. A lot of people think, oh, we just have these nice little animals, or big animals in this case, and he loves to be groomed. He doesn't have a lot of extra fur from the winter right now. He has lost a lot of it. He shed it for the summer. But to give him a hand at that, we have Marina and Grayson grooming them so that their coats can come out and we can give them a hand with that through the summer.
Okay.
Our alpaca.
And he's the one that escaped, right?
Yes, he's the one who escaped the other night, and then the police found him. He can be, we don't know how he got out still. This is an alpaca. You can see he has to be trimmed. He has to be sheared. I do not do that myself. I get somebody who can do sheep and alpacas, and they have to be sheared down. They can use their fiber for different things, but he's due to be trimmed, you know, where all this fur will come off. and he'll look like a little poodle when he is done. So that's another thing, and you have to have a professional do that because it's really hard, and if you nick them, they can bleed to death, so you have to be very careful. Let's take a walk around front. So that's one of the jobs, grooming. Scooping manure is always one of our biggest jobs here at the Funny Farm because we have so many animals and they poop a lot. It's just what happens, and some people don't think about that when they get an animal. When you get a horse or a goat or a cow especially, cow pies, you ever hear of that? So this is how they scoop the poop. They break it up into a pile. You can show Mr. Matt and Annalise Miles. They break it up, all the dirt and poop, whatever's in there, get put in a wheelbarrow. We take it to a compost and we actually will use it for gardening and things like that. So it's really great fertilizer. Let's go on in. Say hi to Stormy. He is our blue and brown-eyed horse, one blue, one brown. He's going to be groomed next. He's the next horse to be groomed today. Let's go on in.
Stormy.
All right, we're walking into the Funny Farm barn, and you can see it's pretty clean. We try and pick up the manure, one of the things that when the volunteers get here first. Steven and his mom Jean over there, they are our professional pooper scoopers. They are always in here, and it's a job that's really hard, but it's a good workout. It's very self-satisfying. You can see all the manure that they have picked out just from a day of this, or since last night. And this is Aiden, this is my nephew. He is grooming Politico, who is not always the friendliest of horses. He was one of the ones who was rescued off the racetrack. But you can see they absolutely love to be groomed. Who doesn't like to be pampered, right? When you go to the hairdresser, we're all having a hard time because nobody can go. Well, these animals have it made here. They are still getting groomed. But like I said, when you have an animal, it takes a lot of work. So just remember, you do your research before you adopt or purchase an animal, and just know what goes along with taking care of them. Let's go through, if we can get by. Come on, excuse me. Here's Lightning. He's next in line. Maybe he is, maybe Stormy isn't next. Lightning, he's our oldest horse. He is in his 30s. He has not shed out his fur because he is so much older, and when older horses, when they get older, they have a harder time taking care of themselves in general. So we have to definitely give him more of a hand. So that's Lightning. He is my slowest horse. All right. Oh, and then there's Cal. Cal. Say hi, Cal. This is Cal, the goat. He will be getting his hooves trimmed as well, along with Billy. Billy is out. I didn't know he was out here.
Hi, Billy.
This is Billy. He is out of his pen on good behavior, so he is actually loose. And then Hollywood's over here as well.
Oh,
And
there he is.
A sweetie pie. Billy's hooves don't get as long because he has more rocks and things to jump on. The more that they have to jump on, they can self-trim their hooves by doing that. But in New Jersey, there's too much wet areas and we get too much rain for them to really help themselves out, unless you put like some big boulders and things in their pen. Here's Hollywood. Give me a kiss.
He's a mama's boy.
He's the one who always likes to be on camera. As you notice, we were filming Billy, and then look who came over. Hollywood! He has to be on camera. Billy's a big boy. Okay, let's go back out. Okay, excuse me. Come on through, Matt. Can you get by? So we have Lily, who is always with Billy in the pen. Like I said, they're all right, you two. They are just getting reacquainted with each other because they haven't always been together. This is a Nubian goat. You can see he's down on his hooves. On his knees. He has problems with his hooves since birth, since a baby. They were never taken care of. So he is more comfortable being on his knees because they're such a big animal and he's pretty heavy. He does get up and he knows he's going to get his hooves done today. His hooves trimmed today, but he loves to be down on his knees until he gets his nails done. Then he'll run all around the farm. Okay, and then we'll go in and see the pigs.
And the fainting goats.
And fainting goats. So this is a fainting goat. A lot of people don't think that they are real. This little girl, Stella, she is our fainting goat. When she gets scared, you can actually see she seems like she's frozen. They get very stiff. When I first got her, when somebody would come in to see them before I was a rescue, she would just fall over sideways. Right now, she looks like she's stiff, like she's Frankenstein. That is her way of protecting herself. They play dead. And she too has to have her hooves trimmed. The pigs, that is a real challenge about getting their hooves trimmed. Dean, the one who was holding Cowboy for me, he has been trying to trim the hooves by himself. You need a holder, there's ways to do it, and it's very difficult. So a lot of times the vets will help out with that when you take your pig in or if they come in to see you. But you can see, we have Fluffer Nutter. Fluffer Nutter, did we wake you up? That's our little overweight piggy. And then this is another fainting goat, but she is pretty friendly, so she doesn't get afraid much. But you can see her hair? That's her winter fur coming out. So again, we have to give them a hand and get that pulled out of her fur so that she doesn't get too hot when it gets warm out. She too also will get her mani-pedi today. So I just wanted to show you that it's not all fun and games. We love the animals, they love us, they provide us unconditional love. However, there is a lot of work to be done. So you should always do your research before you adopt a pet. And, oh, we were gonna show them the bunnies.
Yeah.
Bunnies are a big one, especially that Easter just came. And I said they are not to be given as a present. They are living animals. And so, Miles, we're coming out. He says, close the gate. Hey, big boy.
He's a mama's boy too.
We'll walk around this way. Don't ever walk behind a horse. In this sense, I just did it. He's very friendly, so I know him. But when you walk behind a horse, you put your hand on his bottom because he cannot get a big, gigantic kick to kick you. It will hurt less. But if they kick you hard, you can end up in the hospital. And you can see our volunteers here. They're watering them. You have to give them fresh food and water every day. Their water should be fresh. A lot of times we replace the water in these pools, and in 5 minutes they're muddy again because they're jumping in. But you can see, they just did them. Thank you, volunteers. As you can see, they're kind of clear, but because they're jumping in with their muddy feet, it gets dirty all the time. This is one of our swans. Are you having fun in your bath? So they like fresh water too. They do have a pond. It's not as fresh as the pool, so they like to get inside there. Also, you have to take your pets to the vet. They need shots, so the horses have to have shots and deworming every year, along with their hooves trimmed. These are miniature horses. They are not ponies. This is Silver and Flash, and they were both rescues. Their hooves were very long when I first got them. I have a farrier who will come and trim the hooves for me because they are very difficult to do if you don't know what you're doing. And a horse can become lame pretty easy, which means they cannot walk. So for the health of them, you always want to make sure that you have a professional doing the horse trimming of their feet. Okay.
Bonnie and
That's
Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde, our llamas. They are much like the alpacas, just a little bit larger, and they too will have their shearing done shortly, which will get rid of all that heavy fur off of them. All right. So I think Sam is helping there.
Yeah.
We do have a bunch of bunnies. Sam, you have a bunny here? Okay.
Representative of
Right.
what they need.
So we have a bunch of different bunnies here. They have to have their cages cleaned out. They have to have boards and things, sometimes this wire is not good. They can cut their feet on them. So we have actually boards on the bottom of them. It is not always the best situation to keep them in a cage like this. If you can make something else, it's wonderful for them. We would like to do that in the future. You can't just put rabbits together. They have very different personalities and they can hurt each other. So if you are incorporating a new bunny in with your other bunny, you have to give them a lot of attention and make sure that they can blend that relationship easily. So Sam is our bunny guy, and he is always, look at that. That's the urine on the board, and he has to clean it up. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. And then here's another bunny. They're very, very picky about some of their food. They're not supposed to have carrots. Carrots are too sugary for them, believe it or not. So special bunny pellets are the way to go. And they also eat, they have to have things that will trim their teeth, because if they don't have anything that they can crunch down, their teeth can overgrow. Also the same thing when you go to the vet, they will file them down. And very fresh water. Some bunnies like to drink out of a bowl, and some have the type that hangs down and they like a guinea pig. So it depends on how they were raised, which way they'll drink water. So just a few things to show you guys that it is a lot of care that happens here. And I fortunately have a bunch of volunteers who make my job so much easier. I couldn't do it by myself. So just remember, if you are going to get an animal, make sure you do your homework and you know how to take care of them. Otherwise they end up in places like this, and we can only take so many. So let's all be responsible pet owners. Have a great day and stay safe.